pretty sure that just last week we were saying Happy New Year. And this week we're standing face to face, toe to toe with the second quarter of 2024. Yeah, and exaggeration, but it feels like that, right? How quick does the year go by? And we know that we are all about living an intentional life over here because it's so easy for the days, the weeks, the months, and the quarters to just roll into one, and they all roll by that you get to the end of the year and it's like, I'm rolling over my goals and things that I really wanted to accomplish this year into next year. Raise your hand if that's ever happened to you. So if you've come over to this video because you want to be intentional about planning your next quarter and just being intentional about how you're working through your goals, then grab your tea, a notebook and a pen if needed, so you can jot down some of the tips that will help you to plan your quarter two with ease. So in order to plan your next quarter, you have to start by not planning your next quarter. In order to know where you're going, you have to know where you've come from. So we have to start with a review. So I'll give you a series of questions that will help you review the last quarter, and those will help you draw from and build on the last quarter and help you plan the next one. So you can probably guess what the first question is. What went well? You want to look back at what were your wins from the last quarter? What did you accomplish? And we know that we're chunking down our goals, right? So you may not have gotten the big goal. It's only the first quarter. Or you might have completed a goal, but it may be the smaller steps towards the bigger goal. So what were your accomplishments during that quarter? And if you had already planned out that quarter, you'd be able to see what you've got, or you may already know it. So you can write down what your accomplishments were for the last quarter. Also look at what you enjoyed in that quarter. What went well in terms of how you worked, whether it was career, your business, family, recreation, health. What worked well for you? The second thing you want to look at is what didn't go so well. What were your challenges during the last quarter? What were your hurdles? What were your frustrations? What were the things that you just do not ever want to repeat again or have happen again? What didn't work well in terms of technique? What didn't work well in terms of collaborations? What were the things that didn't get done? And again, everything is learning. It doesn't mean that it was a problem. It doesn't mean that it was a failure. Some of those things may not have gotten done, and that might have been the best thing. Or it may mean that you need to build on something else. And when you take it forward to the next quarter, you know how to work with it differently. Which leads on to the third question, because it's all about learning here. So what did you learn from that last quarter? What skills did you acquire? Or have you learned that there are some skills you need to acquire? What growth did you experience during that quarter? What did you learn about yourself? And what did you learn about yourself from your wins and also from the things that may not have gone so well? One of the important things to look at this point as well is, who have you become? You've had a whole 3 months of working on different aspects of your life. What changes have you seen? Have you seen growth? Have you acquired a new way of thinking? Have you acquired a new way of being? What did you learn? And the fourth question that you really need to ask yourself is, what needs to change? Because this is all about review. And one of the most important things when it comes to reviewing is not just taking in that information and gathering it. You have to use it. So based on what went well, based on what didn't go so well, based on the things that you learned and maybe the skills that you have to acquire going forward to the new quarter, what things might you need to do differently? It might also be, how do you use your time differently? Who do you need to spend more time with? What do you need to spend less time doing? What might you need to spend more time doing? And one of the things that really helps, I'm not quite sure what it's called. I call it a change matrix. And you can do this simply by just drawing a set of 4 boxes and you label them: start doing, do more of, stop doing, do less of. And you will put under each of those categories those things that if you start doing more of, did less of, stop doing, or did more of, would make the next quarter even better. So reviewing your last quarter in that way gives you a really good foundation to move forward with your next quarter. In order to know where you're going, you got to know where you came from. You got to know your history. So now you're ready to plan the next quarter. Right now, we are in quarter 2, 2024, and we are staring down April, June, and July. The first thing you want to do is have a look at the goals that you have already for this quarter. So you would have those if you'd already planned out your year. And if you'd done that, then you may already have some goals for the second quarter anyway. And then all you need to do is bring in anything from the first quarter that you may also need to continue to work on. Because ideally what you want to be doing is chunking down your life goals. So if you look at the goal funnel, you can see that we start with life goals. You have your yearly goals, your quarterly goals, chunk down into your monthly goals, your weekly goals, and then we live intentional days. So if you haven't already done that and you don't have a list of goals to choose from, it doesn't matter. You can start wherever you are. And what I want you to do is think about what you want to accomplish for the rest of the year, and then picture yourself 3 months from now. So you're sitting there, it's the end of June. What are you doing? Who are you with? What has changed for you? And again, I want you to touch it, feel it, see it, smell it, taste it. What goals have you achieved? What does good look like for you? What does great look like for you? What does life look like for you? And if you need help with getting that done, I've put together a workbook called the Goal Getter Generator. And that workbook will walk you through how to pull out those big goals, make them manageable, chunk them down so that you can work on them. So after you've done that and you know where you want to be in 3 months' time, then we start working backwards. So this is how we plan quarter 2. You know what month 3 looks like. Then I want you to work backwards to month 2. What does month 2 need to look like? What do you need to be doing in month 2 to get you to month 3? And then work backwards to what does the end of April need to look like? What needs to be started in month 1? What work do you need to be doing to get you to month 2 and a successful month 3? And then when you've done that, you've got your month 1 focus, your month 2 and month 3. That's your quarter done. But that's the outline of your quarter, and then you start planning your weeks. What do you need to do in this week to get you to achieve the month's goal? You plan out your week with what needs to be done, and we know that we are living intentional days. We know that what our tasks are, what our to-dos are for the week, so that we can stay on track, stay motivated as we do the small steps that take us to the bigger goal. So that's how you plan out your 12-week year or your quarter. And during that period, you don't want to overwhelm yourself. You want to be working on between 2 to 4 goals, or maybe just one big goal. We're humans, we're multifaceted. We know that there are lots of things going on. So maybe one of your goals may be with your business, maybe your health, your career. There's something you might want to do with family. But the whole point of planning out your quarter like that is so that you aren't just looking at a whole big goal. You're able to chunk it down into manageable steps. And those manageable steps, when you break them down into weeks, become your systems. It becomes how you go about your daily life. So we can actually set as many goals as we like, but it isn't the goals that get us going. It's the systems that we put in place, which is why we need to chunk it down into weeks and days. So I hope that was helpful for you. And if you were able to use these tips and steps to help you plan your next quarter, let me know in the comments below, and let me know what other topics you'd like to hear about on this channel. Until the next video, bye.